How often do you think about the Oscars? I mean, really think about the Oscars. I know we all think about them for like 3 months at the start of the year when the race is actually on, but like, how often do you actually think about how many movies have won an Oscar? It's over 1,000 at this point, over 1,050 actually. They range in genre from sci-fi to horror to drama to comedy to drama to romance to drama to Jesus Christ. There's so many dramas, you guys. You don't even know. And they range in quality from genuine classics we still talk about to this day to hidden gems we've forgotten unfairly to genuinely some of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. But all those movies are kind of a snapshot of where culture was at the time they won, because they won Oscars, because they were considered big and important enough to be Oscar nominees, because the Academy saw something in them, even if we don't totally get it. So the premise of this podcast is this. Every episode, I will randomly determine an Oscar-winning movie, get two volunteer guests to talk about it with me, and we'll chat. The discussions will be a little free-form, a little loose. The only requirement for guests is that one of the three of us, either myself or one of my guests, has to be watching the movie for the first time. At least one. Sometimes it's all three of us. That's fairly common, actually, because a lot of these movies are more obscure than you might think. I would like to note that a movie's inclusion is not a recommendation of its quality. I saw the TV Glow, my favorite movie of 2024, didn't get nominated for any Oscars, whereas Amelia Perez, one of the worst pieces of shit I've ever seen in my life, won two. It's also not an endorsement of anyone who won an Oscar or was in an Oscar-winning movie. People who are cruel or thoughtless or racist or other forms of bigoted or absolute monsters have won Oscars. We sure all have a laundry list of those kind of people who have won awards, and I don't like that. I don't think anyone else does, but I don't think it's helping any of us to pretend that it's not the case, to pretend that these people didn't win their awards, and to pretend these movies don't exist. Even monsters can make great art sometimes, and even good people can make terrible art, so we're gonna find out what kind of movies win Oscars together. It's gonna take a while to examine them all. A lot of movies have already won Oscars, and it's not like they're stopping doing ceremonies while I'm doing my podcast. So, I hope you want to come along. And with all of that in mind, I'm your host, as always, Ellie McConaughey, and with me today is Amanda.
Hello.
And Blake Bernett.
Hi, I'm Blake Bernett, and my favorite Queen song is Bicycle Race.
That's unsurprising to me for some reason.
So, is that left column or right column?
I'm not doing left column, right column jokes here because I'm not explaining that to our listeners.
I give you permission to explain to the listeners how you keep an Excel sheet trying to figure out whether I am a cishet man, which is what I identify as, or whether I'm a woman who hasn't realized it yet.
We're deleting all of this. I'm not putting this on the podcast.
Oh, that's for the director's cut. You've got consent
Director's
on the
cut.
record. It doesn't bother me none.
You know what?
It's Pride
you
Month. I want to be a good ally.
Like, it's Pride Month. I'm an ally. You should at least trim that and save it and put it in the quotes channel. That's all I'm going to say.
There we go. And for our sins, we are here today to talk about Bohemian Rhapsody, the 2019 Queen biopic that inexplicably won Best Actor, Best Film Editing, Best Sound Editing, and Best Sound Mixing at the 91st Academy Awards. And I may have accidentally tipped my hand on how I feel about it.
That is a lot of awards for what that movie was.
Yeah, I'm gonna teach the audience a little bit of ancient Hebrew here. There's a word we use, dayenu, and it means that would have been enough. If it only, because I only knew that it won Best Editing before looking into this, and I was like, dayenu, that's bad enough that it won Best Editing, but it won 4 Oscars.
Yeah, the Best Editing's kind of infamous because, like, so good editing is either, like, really, really good editing is something you can notice, like, if you're watching Wachowski Sisters movie, but for the most part, good editing is invisible, and the editing in this movie is so visible. People who don't know shit about movies are like, that was so badly edited.
And it gets so much worse when you're looking out for it, too.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking out for it. I didn't. Okay, so once again, I didn't do any research before doing this because why would I do that when I can just go in blind as usual? So
Had you heard of Queen before?
That's why I love you, Amanda.
I know some Queen music, right? But I've never been a fan per se. I didn't know Freddie Mercury's story whatsoever. I had never seen the movie. I had technically no interest in seeing the movie when it first came out. Like I saw the trailer and I was like, okay, I think this is a skip. And then I saw it was over 2 hours long and I was like, oh, it's definitely a skip. And then Ellie brought this up for the podcast and I was like, you know what? I'll watch it. How bad can it be?
Quite bad.
Boy, oh boy. I feel like every time I come on here, I'm a D1 hater for these movies, but goddamn.
This is not your fault.
I gotta get you on a movie you'll like.
Yeah, I was hoping that my first time on the podcast I could be a little more positive, and I really did try to rewatch this with an open mind. I tried to watch it with an open mind. That was immediately shut down upon getting even partway into the movie.
I mean, I fell asleep on my first watch, so I had to watch it twice, technically.
So like the theory, and I don't know if this ever got officially confirmed, but the running theory about the way it's edited, and if it did get officially confirmed, then it just like it's obvious when you watch the movie, is that because the non-Freddie Mercury members of the band were consultants on the movie, which is again something you can really tell if you know what you're looking for on how it's written.
Oh, yeah.
They basically what the theory is that they basically demanded all of them get an equal number of close-ups, and it just fucks with the pacing and rhythm of every single scene. The scene in the courtyard where they're like introducing themselves to fuck, I don't know the name of his character, Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. That scene.
Is that Paul?
Oh, you mean like literally they had to have the same number of like close-up shots of each member of the band?
I don't know if anyone's gone through and counted like the specific close-ups, but that is what it feels like. There's this quote from, I think it was Orlando Bloom was talking about how like he has a lot of dialogue that's just kind of redundant in Lord of the Rings because his agent was like, my actor needs this amount of dialogue, so they just wrote him a bunch of like, I am sensing something dialogue. And that the whole movie feels like that. They just keep cutting back to the other band members because they need the shots.
That's kind of ironic given, or at least I think it's a funny coincidence given that one of the big fights before the band breaks up in the movie is because they're like, Freddie's going on about how he's like, oh, aren't you tired of, always fighting for like who gets the song on the album, who gets, the single and blah, blah, blah. And like, how do we make it fair and etc. And then we find out that the editing looks the way that it does, very likely because the band members were consultants on the movie and they insisted on their faces being closed up on.
Yeah, it's almost like they were sticking it to the man, except they are the man.
But if they were consultants on the movie, because I did a bit of a deep dive on the lore, because I was like, I'm curious how accurate this is. And from my research, it doesn't seem like the movie is particularly accurate. It's like a very creative exaggeration at best on what actually happened. So if they were consultants on the movie and like this is kind of the result, that's very fascinating to me.
I think they were probably consultants on the movie where their main job was to tell the writer and director what they couldn't do.
That's possible.
It's kind of become reasonably well known that the movie really fudges with with history to make the story work. They push Paul Prenter's betrayal of Freddie Mercury to before Live Aid. They push his AIDS diagnosis to before Live Aid. They frame his like solo projects as like the band breaking up when really they were like fine as far as I know.
Yeah, they were just solo projects. A lot of bands do that.
From my like research, like they never actually broke up and all of them worked on solo stuff at some point or another.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily a point of contention.
Very common.
But I found it really funny that Paul ends up being like their Yoko in the movie.
Yeah.
And that was like my first comment when I saw it. I was like, oh, like immediately when you start seeing the tension with Paul, I was like, oh, is he going to be their Yoko? Like that's literally in my notes.
Which is not helped by the fact that Alan Lean as Paul is, in my opinion, the best actor in this movie.
I really like the actress that played Mary, but she also didn't have much to do.
She's barely in the movie.
She was a bit of a sexy lamp.
Sexy lamp is so rude.
You've never heard that expression? A female character in a movie where you could just replace her with a sexy lamp, maybe with a piece of a post-it note with some exposition, and the movie would be the same?
I don't know. I found like she was kind of like a nothing burger the entire movie, and then there's this scene where he like semi comes out to her, and
Ugh.
I just like found her really compelling in that scene. Like I like couldn't stop watching her, and like her face, I was like, you can see that like her heart is breaking, but she saw it coming at the same time, and it was just like there wasn't much dialogue that needed to be communicated to see like to understand the feelings that she was feeling. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's kind of like the relationship with Mary is kind of weird because Blake is correct that like so the term sexy lamp both to Amanda and to the audience is you if you could replace a lady character with an object that merely provides light and heat, you have a badly written
Yeah.
lady character, and it's fairly common. You know, women characters who basically just don't exist except to be something the dude kind of wants, which makes I guess her even more thankless because he doesn't want her.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it's crazy when I was like looking it up. Like, it sounds like she had a very important role in his life, even though they didn't end up, together.
Mm-hmm.
And he ends up like coming out later. Like, it's just so it kind of made me sad a little bit to see her relationship reduced the way it was. And I feel like I would have really enjoyed seeing that explored a little bit better. I feel like narrative wise, the movie was kind of really all over the place and it was really hard to follow. And the only reason I knew there was time jumps is because Freddie Mercury's hair got cut again. And it was just it's just weird. Like I had a hard time keeping up and I was like, oh, we're in a new era now.
Well, they also had big text on the screen saying the year because they weren't doing a good job. I got distracted because I just learned that on the platform we're recording, you can put little descriptions of people, and somebody edited the description of me. Might have to do another take of whatever I was about to say.
Blake confirmed hates Coolsville.
I
I
apologize. I couldn't resist.
This is a movie about editing, and editing is a powerful thing because, for example, you could take something like me saying, I'm Blake Bernett, and I would never say that I think Coolsville sucks. I, Blake Burnett, would never say, I think Coolsville sucks. You can take that and you can do something completely different with it.
Editing Ellie here with a shocking admission from Blake Burnett.
I, Blake Burnett, think Coolsville sucks. But good editing, you don't notice. Here, you can have fun with that, Ellie.
Okay, wait. If we want to talk about one singular scene in the entire 2-hour movie that we just watched, I would say the scene where they're doing the editing for Bohemian Rhapsody, like where they were recording it. I
Ugh.
thought that was really cool, low key. Like I love the way they were like switching between the perspectives, and like on one hand you got the guy singing and he's like, "Bro, how many takes am I gonna have to do? What do you mean higher? I can't sing that high." Whatever it is he's complaining about, and then you've got Freddie who's like completely in the zone, and then you have the zooms on like the deck, and like I don't know sound recording that well, so it was really cool to see it how I'm really hoping it's accurate how it was done in the 70s. But I thought that scene was cool, and that was probably my favorite one out of the entire movie, and probably the only one I found to be well done.
There was something in that scene that bothered the crap out of me, even the first time I watched this.
Was it about the accuracy of the
It
process?
was specifically about him telling Roger, you have to sing higher. And then he would sing the exact same take, which was the studio vocal. Because it wasn't the actor singing. They literally just isolated
Yeah.
the backing vocal from the master track and they dubbed it over, which they do a lot in this movie. And sometimes it's really distracting.
Yeah, I assumed that's what they had done because they did sound like the original song. So I was like, there's a
Yeah.
pretty good chance they didn't re-record these songs for the movie, which is unfortunate, but
They
also,
did a mix. There is a cover artist. I have his name written somewhere here, but I don't know where it is. And
but
I'm
it's not
not
one of
at.
the actors in the movie.
No, there's an actual Queen cover artist who did some overdubs. Mark Martell is his name,
Okay.
and he does an incredibly good Freddie Mercury impression. And unless you're really looking out for it, it's hard to tell. Just before I forget my thought, it just bothered me that he kept going, no, you have to sing that higher. And then he sings the exact same note. And he goes, no, sing it higher. And he sings the exact same note. And it's the same take each time.
I will add an addendum to my statement. The
Mhm.
visual editing
Yeah, that was cool.
is what I enjoyed. The sound mixing, I don't know how they got an Oscar for that because
Yeah.
It's at best it's fine, you know.
Mhm.
it's a movie, you know, like it sounds good, I guess, but it's not like, I don't know, I wouldn't consider it Oscar worthy. Who was it up against that year?
Oh, that's always the $1,000,000 question.
That's always what I like to compare.
I'll admit the 91st Academy Awards was kind of a rough year. That was the year Green Book won Best Picture. That having been said, the other options for Best Sound Mixing were Black Panther, First Man, Roma, and A Star Is Born. I'm not going to lie to you, any of them would have been better picks for sound mixing, especially First Man.
And that's separate from sound editing, where A Quiet Place was nominated and didn't win.
That's insane to me because A Quiet
Yeah.
Place was fucking amazing. And out of those movies listed, I think I've only seen A Star Is Born and Black Panther. I can't really comment on Black Panther's sound because that's not really what I'm watching when I'm watching a Marvel movie, but I think that movie was way better than this one. So
It's perfectly competent. Both this, like, I'm not a sound mixing expert. Sound is one of
mhm.
those things that's kind of complicated
Yeah.
in like film because like bad sound mixing or sound editing can ruin a movie, but you're very
Hmm.
rarely going to say like, "Oh, that movie was absolutely made by its sound mixing." You know what I mean?
This whole time, I'm just thinking about the scene where Freddie is first like composing and practicing the piano part of Bohemian Rhapsody, and he's just playing it on his piano in his living room, and he opens his mouth, and the studio vocal from A Night at the Opera comes out of his mouth. It's just the a cappella track that from the song that's been played on the radio a million times. And it's like, here's this little thing I'm working on.
Yeah.
Perfect
I was
studio
gonna say
vocal that you've
that's
heard
another thing.
before.
If they're using the studio vocals, like actual Freddie Mercury studio vocals, any of these scenes where they're singing like in a house or an apartment, or like, you know, even just like where they're practicing or they're performing, like Blake and I know very well, your vocals are going to sound so different depending on what room you're in. And the
Mhm.
fact that like they couldn't even manipulate the audio a little bit to make it sound like he was actually singing a cappella in his living room is mind-boggling to me. Because what do you mean this won an Oscar for it?
They had a whole guy for that. They had Mark Martel that could have just done an approximation, and they're like, no, we're going to use the studio vocal that is super highly polished and reverbed and have that come out of Rami Malek's mouth as he's singing in his living room.
So part of the thing is like, okay, so I brought this up in the chat, and I know Blake has seen this. So how many people here, which basically asking, man, have you ever seen a movie called Walk Hard: The Dewey Cox Story?
No, and it really doesn't sound appealing. Just based on your tone. It doesn't sound like it would be my vibe.
You don't like R-rated DVD style comedies from the late 2000s?
Oh,
It's a parody of music biopics,
yeah, definitely not my vibe.
most heavily the Johnny Cash biopic that came out in the mid 2000s. Ever get the name of it?
Walk the Line.
That's the bitch.
Hmm.
And like, it's one of those movies that has actually kind of gotten better because movies keep sort of like doing the shit it's making fun of,
Hmm.
and Bohemian Rhapsody very much feels like they have a checklist of scenes to get through, and they're just ramming through it, and they don't have time to slow down to make like one of my favorite music biopics is a movie called Love and Mercy, which is a movie that is entirely about, and it jumps back and forth between these two time periods. The first time period is Brian Wilson trying to get Pet Sounds together as an album in the 60s. And the second time period is Brian Wilson at the end of the 80s trying to like untangle his life from Dr. Landy. And I have in my notes like you could make an entire movie just about the recording of Night at the Opera, but they just sort of they barely even touch on it. They have like two or three scenes that are very fast of them recording one or two songs, and then they're just gone. And then the movie just moves the fuck on. It is utterly uninterested in the musical process.
It feels like somebody just read the Wikipedia article for Queen and adapted that.
But no, because like it's very inaccurate to what
Yeah,
actually happened.
Skimmed the Wikipedia article.
yeah.
I feel like they put the Wikipedia article into Chat GPT and they were like, "All right, make me a movie," and that's kind of what came out, which is crazy.
Wow, what a good idea. You're certainly going for with making this film.
You're right. Freddie Mercury was actually bisexual. My mistake.
It's I mean, so we do have to acknowledge, because it's part of the thing that sort of made this movie winning all the Oscars. I have watched most of the Oscars since like 2010, like when they were happening. And one of the things that sort of made this movie winning all these Oscars very comical is, you get used to an Oscar speech's flow. I want to thank my co-stars and the writer and the director and my partner. The Oscar speech beats. And what made this one kind of funny is every single one of those speeches would have this sort of like half-second beat where they were like, wait, can't fucking mention Bryan Singer.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was the director. His most famous movies besides this is still probably the X-Men movies from like the early 2000s, or maybe The Usual Suspects. I don't know. I actually don't know what people remember him for. Anyway, he's also a rapist.
Oh, I was about to ask what the lore was, and yep, I get it now.
Yeah, he got his allegations like right in the middle of
Oscar season.
production on this,
Oh, production.
and there's some. I'm not gonna like say anything definitively. There are a lot of rumors that he basically like went into hiding, and the movie was finished by Dexter Fletcher, the guy who directed Rocket Man.
Which is one of the theories for why it won Best Editing.
So is that why it feels so disjointed?
That could be part of why.
Yeah, because if you have two different directors, they have two different creative visions, and like
Rocket Man's not an amazing movie. I like it more than this. It's a more interesting to watch movie.
I like the actor that plays him. I
Hmm.
don't necessarily enjoy the movie, but also I'm not a huge Bob Dylan fan. Is it Bob Dylan?
Elton
Elton John.
John.
Elton John, that's the one.
Yeah. Bob Dylan had a biopic where I think 6 different actors played him, including.
Kate Blanchett
That's it, yeah.
and a 10-year-old black kid. Very good movie. A bunch of my friends who listen to the pod are currently taking a shot because Ellie's about to mention the director. The director is Todd Haynes, who also directed Carol. He's one of my favorite directors.
Do I also have to take a shot?
Do you want to?
No, I just water for me, thank you.
Yes, Blake should definitely take a shot.
Ugh,
Peer pressure, peer pressure.
that's good. Stay hydrated, folks.
You know what? I'm gonna take a sip.
Yeah, I'll take a sip too.
I'm just saying, I watched this movie on, I think, Wednesday, and like last Wednesday, and the next day I got sick, and I'm still fighting a summer cold. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think this movie,
Attacked you.
I think it was actually a too late protective response because my body was like, oh, I have to remove Blake's sense of taste just in case he watches this movie again.
It's kind of diabolical. So are you saying that Rami Malek gave you COVID?
I don't want to say that on the record because I actually, what did we think about Rami Malek's
Allegedly.
performance in this movie?
Oh, dude, I couldn't stop staring at the teeth and the bad hair,
The fake teeth are so bad.
like the bad wigs.
I think they got in the way of his acting. I made a note of that here.
I conceptually like Rami Malek. I'm starting to worry he's one of those guys we kind of like whiffed on. It's not it doesn't feel it's not a very human performance.
Yeah, that's it. Like, it feels weird that he won an Oscar because it was a good impression. It was a very good impression.
Hmm.
I don't feel like there was a lot of nuance or layers to the performance. It didn't feel like there was like multiple emotions kind of hiding behind the facade of whatever he was doing. There was no depth to it.
Hmm.
And I'm comparing him to Alan Lean as Paul, who every micro expression that Lean makes in this movie, like you can see so many different thoughts are going through the character's head.
Honestly, every time he was on screen, I just heard supervillain music in my head.
In my opinion, I mean, he's just got bad. He just kind of at this point, I think we have to just sort of acknowledge he has bad taste in projects. He's not very good in this. He's not very good in the James Bond movie he was in.
He was in like a PlayStation game, wasn't he?
Was he?
Rami Malek? I think he's in Until Dawn. Am I mispronouncing his name this whole time?
Yeah, he was in Until Dawn. That movie, that game, not movie, scares the shit out of me.
He was also a character whose name I don't recognize in The Legend of Korra.
And he was in The War at Home, the short-lived sitcom on Fox. And he played a gay character in that one too.
I'm just always gonna remember him as the main character from Mr. Robot,
Mm,
which is a show I liked a lot, and I don't know if that opinion would hold up now that I'm 30.
30 something.
This is a dumb question, maybe, but due to my lack of familiarity with Queen, were they always so disjointed, like style wise?
Mm-hmm.
Because they feel like they're in two different bands. Like you had the not Freddie Mercury people that all kind of looked pretty cohesive, and then there was Freddie Mercury who just looked like he was on another planet compared to them. And I was very curious if that's accurate to what the actual band was like, because that's very interesting. Because I don't really see that much.
I got the feeling that all of the costumes in this movie were meticulously researched.
Well, I like to think that, a biopic about such a famous person would be meticulously researched,
Mm.
and, then that would be translated into film, but alas.
Yeah, we can't assume anything. That's a good point.
Hollywood does tend to disappoint me on a regular basis when it comes to that.
I mean, they did make an effort to have them wear like down to the stitch the right outfits for Live Aid, which is part of a bigger problem with how they handle the Live Aid scene, which we can get into whenever we get into it.
I kept meaning to, and then to go back and watch. I was actually this morning. I was going to go and watch the Queen Live Aid performance to like compare to the performance in this movie, but then I decided to watch the Rejected cartoons by Don Hertzfeld instead. So I'm just kind of like this. You just have to accept that.
My fork is too large, or whatever they say.
Spoon. I do seem to recall that it was like a one-to-one recreation except for the cutaways to other people, which I guess.
Yeah, but the Live Aid performance, they all look very cohesive.
Mm-hmm.
They all look like they're in the same band. Like any other scene in the movie where they're performing, like Freddie Mercury is in this like very out there costuming, and then his bandmates they just look like a regular rock band, like any rock band you would find in the 70s and 80s. And
I might have some, I'm kind of projecting, but I might have some insight into this from the brief time that I was in a band, which is that there's a stereotype that musicians that dress really fancy and put a lot of visual effort into their performances are doing it to overcompensate for poor musicianship. And that's not always true, but it has led to this weird sort of meta where some musicians will purposely not dress up when they perform because they want to make it seem like they're more focused on their musicianship. And I wonder if maybe the members of Queen were doing that in their early years because they didn't want to be seen as just a glam band. Because in the 70s, that was a big thing, was these bands that were all about their image and didn't necessarily have the songwriting chops to back it up. And they might have been trying to avoid those pitfalls, except for Freddie Mercury, who was smart and confident and knew that you could look good and sound good at the same time.
I understand the idea of visually peacocking to disguise from the music, but what I'm talking about specifically is just generally, for the most part, you put like a band, like, the band members in a group. I'm not necessarily talking like they're dressing up to perform, just when they're performing, you put them all side by side and they look like they're in the same band. They look like they showed up to the same place on
Mm-hmm.
purpose. It's like if I invited you to a wedding and I told you, dress like casual, and you showed up in a whole suit, you look like you don't fit in the event happening.
Mm-hmm.
you know?
They look like when you're playing Guitar Hero or Rock Band and you have your 4 custom characters.
I think that was. I mean, I'm not a music expert, so like take everything I have to say about rock bands with a grain of salt. But like, I don't think that was as much of a concern as it used to be, as it is nowadays, where like bands want to have a coherent look. I don't really feel like Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band had a coherent look. I don't really feel like a lot of like Van Halen had a very coherent look, at least at first.
Kiss.
Kiss had a very coherent look.
They all looked like they were in the same band.
That's what I think is when I talk about like maybe Queen wanting to not dress up because they didn't want people to think they were like Kiss, which was a band that I suspect that like music snobs in the 70s were like, oh, Kiss is all about the image, their music isn't very good, and look how that's aged. It turns out they were right.
I just found it very visually distracting when watching the
Yeah.
movie, specifically in the performance scenes. So I was curious if that's accurate to how the band actually dressed when they were performing versus whether it was like an embellishment by the movie to kind of make Freddie stand out as the star a little bit more.
Maybe.
I suspect it's accurate. Freddie was always kind of known as a very flamboyant, stage energy frontman to the group, which I think is to his benefit. They make big sounding music. It's kind of there's probably something to be said there that he's the only gay one in the group, which wasn't technically like publicly known until '87, but never mind. I actually one of the things that I kind of wrote down, since we are covering this movie for Pride Month. Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month.
Here's a terrible gay movie. Many such cases.
That we all hated.
We all hated. Your homework is to go watch a good gay movie after this as penance. Go watch Love Lies Bleeding.
Okay, I am looking at photos of like just them on stage,
Mm-hmm.
and they did look a lot more cohesive. Like
Okay.
their
Oh,
outfits,
so you were right then. It was a directorial decision.
like he was always the more like, flamboyant version, but they still all kind of looked like they belonged together. Whereas I found in the movie that they very much kind of made him stand out visually a lot more. And I just felt like that was potentially a costuming decision
Mm-hmm.
because as much as like the movie is about Queen, it's more about Freddie than anything else
Yeah.
because we focus a lot more on Freddie's story.
It's actually kind of like one of the notes that I had is that like so the movie, if we take our assumption that the rest of the band was very heavily involved in the don't do this or that kind of way, which again I don't know if that's ever been officially confirmed. The movie fucking feels like it's at the end of the day it doesn't matter. One of the things that I did really notice is they were very intent on portraying the rest of the band as like family men. Oh, I got to get home to my wife. Stop. I can't stay out and party with you, Freddie. I got the old wife. I got to get that shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like kind of shocked that they sort of threw that in.
I guess they just needed a way to make Freddie seem lonely during the lonely parts of
Yeah.
his movie.
It definitely like wanted to it they kind of wanted to show us that he was like slowly being isolated from his group, whether it be with his like lifestyle. And when I'm talking about lifestyle, I definitely mean like his partying and always wanting to be around people and like drinking and all that stuff. And as we found out later in the movie, drugs as well, whereas his friends were kind of prioritizing their families a little bit more.
You know how we know that he did drugs in the story is because the characters say you did drugs. We never actually see him do drugs. They just say you did
There was
drugs.
also cocaine on the table in the scene where Mary comes over because she hadn't heard from him in a while, and
Oh, I was
there's like
wrong.
shit all over the place. And she's like, I haven't heard from you. I miss you. I'm worried. And she tells him he's pregnant. And then there's like a pan to the room, and like on one of the tables, there's cocaine on the table.
Mm-hmm.
I might have missed that because I was trying to make it through the movie and probably keeping my knees tucked up to my chest and assuming the airplane crash position.
I was literally trying so hard to not be a hater for this movie. I was trying to find some redeeming qualities.
It's very much a like it's an easy to hate movie. My thought that I had, and this is you can like disagree with me if you want, is like I assume this wasn't intentional. Whatever I think of Brian Singer, rapist, he is gay.
Wait, is he? Was he actually like charged?
He is fairly, how do I put this? He's never been charged with anything, but it's one of those things where like, okay, we've got enough accusations.
Yeah, we might want to say alleged since this is going into a
No, you
public
got
space.
to remember Ellie is American, so Ellie's allowed to say whatever she wants.
Yeah,
Right, but also if you don't say alleged, she could get sued for defamation.
I could, but you'd have to argue that my podcast with 5 listeners is materially damaging his reputation.
Six if you count Brian Singer. 5 listeners and 1 alleged rapist.
Listen, I'm just trying to cover Ellie's ass. My bad.
No, it's fair. I was gonna do like an extended bit where, how am I materially damaging his reputation when I have no listeners, and also that's what everyone like. We bring up Bryan Singer now. No one's bringing up the usual suspect. Everyone's like, "Oh, the guy who raped those people."
Listen, the chat is gonna go crazy when they start clowning on him, and he's gonna be cooked.
He's gonna be cooked. He's gonna be cooked.
I don't know what any of those words mean.
Don't worry your pretty little head about it, Blake.
Your comment about the other band members being family men reminded me that early in the movie they say we're 4 misfits who don't belong, and we see zero evidence of that outside of Freddie.
Yeah.
Yep. Listen, Blake, they have long hair, all right?
They have long hair.
In the 70s.
And one of them plays the bass.
No, the bass player ends up with short hair, though.
Yeah, but he plays bass.
Yeah, but he also ends up with short hair.
No, Blake is saying that they have long hair except for the one who plays bass. He plays bass. That's what
Oh, I thought you were saying, and he plays bass.
No, because in the 70s and 80s, it wasn't sexy to play bass. It only got sexy to play bass when TikTok became a thing.
That doesn't feel real. Because School of Rock came out in 2003.
Oh, yeah, right.
And there's a whole scene where Jack Black takes a bass, and he's like, it's just like a cello. We tip it to the side, and cello, you got a bass.
So we're just going to talk about School of Rock because it's a better movie.
You know what? That's a great idea. I could talk about that for hours.
Is that the joke that happens on every episode of this podcast? Ellie, someone brings up a better movie, and we're like, can we just talk about that movie? Is that like a recurring feature?
No, sometimes we just talk about sometimes we don't actually have a better movie to talk about. Sometimes it's just a really good movie.
And this is not one of those times.
I think the Beetlejuice episode, we ended up talking about Wicked for like 20 minutes. So
many such cases. We're all easily distracted. As
Ellie likes to say, they put ADHD where her brain belongs.
Yeah, they did.
And also me, apparently.
I'm on a cocktail of Vyvanse and cold medication right now. I am ready to roll.
No, my point. I was making a point. I was making a specific point. So I don't think this is an intentional angle. Again, Bryan Singer, whatever he is also gay. So I don't think he would be intentionally homophobic. But the way implication kind of circles around the movie, we have the 3 straight guys who don't have any consequences, and Freddie, the only one who's partying, is the gay one. They end up with this like sort of implication that his like drug addiction and downfall is directly tied to his sexuality, especially since they basically cut out his real life partner until like the last scene for some fucking reason.
Yeah, I found that really weird that the like waiter guy was actually like his real life partner like long term, because I found him to be a bit of a nothing burger in the movie, and then I looked it up and I was like, wait, this guy was like actually like in his life and like a consistent part of his life for a long time, so that's very strange to me.
He also wasn't a waiter in real life. I think he was a hairstylist or something. Not to do a gay man cliche or anything.
Well, that actually doesn't feel like too bad of a creative change to make it tie more into the party stuff. But yeah, they really had weird senses of what to give attention to in this movie and what not to give attention to.
They also like they have this habit of like bringing up stuff like exactly once. Like they have that scene at the very end where Freddie goes and sees his dad, who has not been on screen in like an hour and a half at that point. Genuinely nearly forgot he existed. And he like quotes something he said back to him. Is like, look, I'm doing my part for the starving children in Africa. Aren't I such a good person? I was just sitting there going, you haven't brought up the fact that there are kids starving once. You brought up that you want to sing at a really big concert. Fuck you.
Well, that's why the narrative feels so disjointed, because like you can tell they put a lot of effort into the performance and concert scenes, and then everything else outside of that just feels like they were like, okay, how do we get to the next concert scene?
Yeah.
And they didn't necessarily think of it in a linear way, and they didn't think of like how these things are all going to tie together in the end. And I think that's kind of where I feel like this movie falls really short, because we could have explored his relationship with Mary more. We could have explored his relationship with Jim more. We could have explored so much of this stuff. His relationship with his family. There's clearly a lot of complicated feelings there, and that would have been so compelling to watch. And instead, it just felt like I watched a hour and a half long concert with some random little scenes in between each song.
I felt like the movie felt like an advertisement for a box set.
You mean like a Queen Greatest Hit collection?
Yes, for the children in the audience, box sets were these collections of CDs that they used to sell.
It's also a song by Bare Naked Ladies.
Blake, what's a CD?
It is also a song with Bare Naked Ladies, yes.
Yeah.
A CD is like a GameCube game, but bigger.
What the
What's a
fuck is a
GameCube?
GameCube?
You cannot keep doing this to me, please.
What are you?
You should have hit us with the. It's called a compact disc, and it's a disc-shaped device.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, I was going to say something relevant. I keep thinking about a better way that they could have handled this movie, which would have been maybe to have it open with Live Aid, which it did, and then in between each song at Live Aid have relevant flashbacks and just spread the Live Aid out over the course of the 2-hour movie. So you have song 1, flashback of how we got there, song 2, flashback of how we got there.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's easy to just sit down at a desk and say that. I know that would have been a completely different movie, but the way they did it was very disjointed.
We mentioned Walk Hard a minute ago. You know, the movie parodying musical biopic cliches. And one of the first lines in that movie is they open at a concert in the future, you know, at the end of the story. And one of the band members says to like a PA, you know, Dewey Cox has to think about his entire life before he plays. And then they just do it unironically.
Yep.
And like, I feel like we could have watched his struggle a little bit more. Like their struggle in the beginning, I feel like I would have liked to see more of that because it really felt like he was like, "It's not just a phase, mom."
Yeah, we see one scene of him working a shitty job.
And then he leaves, and then suddenly he's fucking famous. Like, what? Like, that was crazy.
One scene of him experiencing racism.
Yeah.
He has experienced racism.
He has experienced one racism.
Just one. And like, you know, there was like that one scene with the reporters where they were asking about his sexuality, and like, obviously I can imagine in the 70s that would have been a lot more of a prevalent discussion.
Mhm.
And to have the movie explore that in a more thoughtful and intelligent way would have been a lot more compelling to watch.
Oh, you didn't notice the subtle way that they explore his sexuality in the scene with the truck driver?
Was that sarcasm?
Yes, very much so.
Okay, just checking.
But I just have been thinking about that nonstop. That the truck driver comes out of his truck and played by Adam Lambert, apparently, which
Ew.
if anyone deserves a cameo in this movie, it's him because he's Queen's new lead singer.
Oh wait, Adam Lambert. Sorry, I thought
Right?
we were I was thinking of the guy from Maroon 5.
No, that would be hilarious.
I was like, why the fuck is he here? No, Adam Lambert is a good pick. I like that.
Yeah, I'm very happy that he got a cameo because like he's just such a perfect like modern singer for Queen.
Yeah,
You know, if Adam Levine showed up, I would be in misery.
that's the
Yeah.
one. Adam Levine. I was like, didn't he cheat on his wife and then name his child after his mistress? Like, I was so confused.
Quite a lot happening in that sentence.
Yep.
But also, I can't think of too many artists I care less about than Maroon 5, so we're just breezing
Yeah.
on past it.
Yep.
So Adam Lambert comes out of the truck and he makes big gay eye contact with Freddie.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes into the bathroom and the camera follows Adam Lambert walking through the bathroom and closes up on the sign on the bathroom that says in big letters, "Men,"
Okay, but
and
listen,
lingers on that.
I'm not talking about necessarily like his exploration of like realizing he likes men and then
Mhm.
proceeding to sleep with a lot of them. I'm talking specifically about presumably the media backlash that would have happened
Mhm.
once those rumors started coming out. Because we had that montage during Bohemian Rhapsody where it starts showing like quotes from various publications.
Oh yeah.
And I can only imagine that that same thing happened as soon as the world found out he was gay. And I feel like exploring that would have been more compelling than us watching
Yeah.
basically, here we are writing a song, here we are performing the song, here we are writing another song, here we are performing, because that's exactly what this movie was. Like there's very little actual story and like content to consume and enjoy, and I would have liked so many other themes to be explored other than them writing song, perform song, write song, perform song. Like it's just so repetitive for 2 hours and 14 minutes.
It is an overlong movie too, yeah.
It's bloated.
I do find it interesting, like, so the movie is like, I don't know if it's the highest grossing biopic of all time. It grossed like $900 million. I think Oppenheimer has it beat now, but not by much.
Oppenheimer's a better movie.
Oppenheimer is a better movie.
I thought that the Live Aid scene, the Live Aid concert in Oppenheimer was very gratuitous.
Mm-hmm.
Where they play Under Pressure as they nuke the audience. That didn't need to be in there.
Blake, goddamn it.
Blake's just trying to tie the themes together with bullshit.
Yeah, it's called editing, and I won an Oscar for it. Thank you very much.
I did find it extremely interesting how much money it made off of specifically sing-along showings.
Really?
That's kind of how I watched it the first time, by the way.
Just for everyone here, that obviously nobody here can see my face, but I have such a disgusted look on my face when I said really.
Oh no, sorry, Amanda. Just so you know, Ellie's talking about Bohemian Rhapsody having a sing-along showing, not Oppenheimer.
Yeah. No, and that is, why do we need a sing-along for Queen? Everybody knows Queen. I'm not even a fan of Queen, and I know Queen.
Everyone likes to sing with Bohemian Rhapsody, I guess.
The first time that I watched this movie was with my mom.
Does anybody even know the lyrics for real?
To Bohemian Rhapsody? No.
To any of the songs.
Yeah. But the first time that I watched this movie was with my mom in Hochelaga Maisonneuve in Montreal, so the east side of Montreal, which is predominantly a French-speaking part of town. As a result, and it was the English screening.
Mm-hmm. So was the theater empty?
The name you just dropped there was quite a lot there.
Yeah, don't worry. The Montrealer listening to this is gonna, you know,
the Montrealer, just the one.
Just the one.
Just so you know, Ellie, he also pronounced it incorrectly.
Technically, they're from Brossard, but
because he's an Anglophone.
I just didn't want to be pretentious. Okay, the Hochelaga Maisonneuve neighborhood in Montreal.
Close enough.
Hot steak.
Montréal.
Yeah. Should we just do the rest of this podcast in French?
I don't speak French, so no.
OK. Bon, là, je suis allé au théâtre avec ma mère et comme j'ai dit, c'était presque complètement un coin francophone. Mais c'était...
Was it empty?
Comment on dit screening? Non, c'était complètement vide. Yeah. It was completely... Okay.
Okay, so he's saying that he went to the French area of town.
Yes.
And viewed the movie in English, and there was nobody there.
There was nobody there. So my mom and I got to just sing along at the top of our lungs in an empty movie theater.
Yeah, but there's so many other better movies that exist that you could do that with.
Yes.
That was how The Greatest Showman made a lot of its money, too, for the record.
You know what? But that one slaps. I will not take any Greatest Showman slander. Thank you.
But I think the sing-along angle works because the first time that I saw that movie, I enjoyed it because I was watching it in the least critical way possible, which was with my feet up on the back of the seat in front of me with my mom at like 11 o'clock at night, just singing loudly to all the songs.
Listen, I was singing along to it and I still hated it, all right?
Yeah.
Tender, you're the most based person who ever lived.
It's some movies are very rewatchable. This one is the opposite. It gets worse every time you see it.
This one, I was like, I kept like clicking on my remote, looking to see how much time was left.
Oh yeah, that is so true.
And every time I was so sad to see that only 3 minutes had passed.
45 minutes in, it felt like you're 90 minutes in.
It's a long ass movie, and it does not give you anything to help you through it.
No.
Yeah.
I was gonna simply say, you know, it might be. I think that a biopic of a gay artist from like the 70s and 80s, you know, we are used to our Chapel's Roan. We only have the one, thank God, because she's one of a kind.
Diana.
I like Chapel Roan a lot. Leave me alone.
No, I agree. I'm just saying, like, that's enough. One is enough. We should be so lucky.
Like, just being out and proud, like, you know. But Blake, prepare the mentioned sticker. Tegan and Sarah have talked a lot about how like being out in the early 2000s basically like cost them a lot of stuff. And I know that most of like the famous musicians from the 70s, you know, Janis Ian or Whitney Houston, were closeted. They had to be closeted if they wanted to like fucking make it. So actually exploring the damage that does to you as a person would be an interesting angle, but they just kind of don't.
Exactly. That's why I said I would have loved to see that struggle. I find that's a much more compelling movie to watch. And like, I don't mean to say that I want to watch him struggle. I want to see like the realness. Like I wanted it to be more real and feel like we can connect to that story a little bit more.
It would raise the stakes.
I feel like taking a more human approach is always better than kind of fluffing it up and just making it this giant music video, basically.
I mean, it's what's interesting is so like I mentioned Rocket Man a minute ago, or like half an hour ago. I've lost all track of time.
I was gonna
It's the
say.
opposite of watching Bohemian Rhapsody. The time just flies by.
I'm talking with my friends. I like chatting with y'all. And Rocket Man is even more of a music video, by which I mean there are moments where they sort of stop doing the diegetic story and just do an Elton John song with a music like with like a whole like musical style dance number behind it. But weirdly enough, that winds up feeling more human because it gives you like a feeling of like what the emotions behind that moment in his life were.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like aside from that, I haven't seen A Complete Unknown or Deliver Me from Nowhere, but I feel like, most of the big biopics, the new Michael Jackson movie that's in theaters right now,
Mm.
the Whitney Houston, the Amy Winehouse, they had a Bob Marley one. Did I imagine that a couple years ago?
You didn't imagine it, but you might as well have.
Okay. I could probably imagine the movie without just sort of like leaning back and thinking about it. And that sucked. I feel like they've been leaning more in the direction of, hey, what if we just sort of played the hits both in your life and in your songs? Just like play the big songs and play the big moments of your life.
Yeah, I feel like I sound so repetitive, but it just like to your point, like yes, I know fans of these artists are going there and they want to hear the songs, and I'm not discrediting that in any way, shape, or form. But I feel like there's so much more to these people and their lives than just the music that they put out. And I feel like if you're doing a biopic, like that's what you should be like including in there. And it's like what, the struggles, the highs, the lows. Like I want to see all of it, and I want to see how you handled it and how it impacted the people in your life. How did it impact you? How did you get to the decisions that you made? Like I feel like that's so much more interesting than just watching, songs over and over again.
Blake referenced. I don't think he said the name of it, but a biopic of Bob Dylan by Todd Haynes called "I'm Not There"
Mm-hmm.
a little bit ago, and that Todd Haynes in particular is very good at doing biopics like that. Someday, God willing, we'll actually get a proper release of Superstar: The Karen Carpenter Story, but in particular, like that movie is not a linear narrative. It is like six interweaving stories starring six different actors as Bob Dylan, including, as I mentioned, like you have Kate Blanchett and Christian Bale and a bunch of different actors, like this little kid playing Bob Dylan because like he's trying to sum up what Bob Dylan means to people. And I feel like I don't know, if you want to just do the music, but like show me them making the music. I don't need you to play me a Queen's greatest hit album. I can do that right now.
I can open up Spotify and I'm good. Like, what
And
do you?
that's exacerbated by that because the actors didn't re-record, because Rami Malek didn't record vocals for this. In something like Walk the Line, there are people that went out and bought the soundtrack because the soundtrack is Joaquin Phoenix doing his version of Johnny Cash.
It's not a particularly good overdubbing either. Like,
No.
I'm not. I don't need to hear people singing live on movies. We haven't covered Les Miserables yet, but my opinion of it is not positive.
Also, before I forget, I take issue with the title of this film.
Okay, go ahead.
Elaborate.
I feel like they just chose the most popular song in order to make the most popular movie. Like, it's not nothing about Bohemian Rhapsody other than the fact that it's the most popular Queen song is relevant to the story. They could have called it "The Show Must Go On" or something. Like, it feels very cynical, very like designed by committee. It's like, oh, people love Bohemian Rhapsody. That song has so much brand recognition. Let's call the movie that too.
That's another thing. I'm about to start complaining about the narrative again. So, that's your fair warning. That scene with like the Bohemian Rhapsody song, like they're pushing their music people. What are they called?
The executives, you mean?
Their like production company, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, they're pushing that guy with the glasses about the song and they're like fighting him on it. They break the glass. Like they're like, yeah, this song's gonna be amazing. Then you have that scene with like the radio guy and they play the song and then you have that like montage of like terrible reviews.
Mm-hmm.
and the scene right after is just them performing at another massive concert. I'm like,
No, I kind of liked that. That was okay.
what? Like you just showed me a song that bombed, and then the next thing, like, and then the next, like, you don't even like connect any of it together. It's just them performing another song.
It's because the director slash editor, whoever put that together, they were preemptively preparing a rebuttal for when the movie was critically panned.
Huh?
So I'm probably not going to win you any favors for the movie when I inform you that the guy with the glasses, that is to say, the character in this movie with glasses, not the Nostalgia Critic website, who is unrelated to this film, is a pretty largely invented character for the movie. He is, as best I can tell, based kind of broadly on a real executive who actually liked the song, just thought it was a little bit long for radio.
Yeah.
The long and the short, as best I can tell, of why that scene and that character is there is that character is played by Mike Myers.
Yeah.
They have him there to say, "Gosh, no one will ever headbang in a car to this song. I'm certainly not played by an actor who famously had a scene in one of his movies where I headbanged to this song in a car."
Yep. And I didn't notice right away that it was him the first time I watched, which made that whole thing seem very weird.
Remember when Mike Myers was in movies?
Mm.
Dark times.
Yeah.
Dark times.
Yeah, we try to get away from that. People are afraid of the future, but every day brings us further away from the 90s.
But okay, I think
Did I distract you?
you did, because now I'm looking up Mike Myers to see what else he's been in.
He was in a movie
Oh,
called
it's the Austin Powers guy.
Powers.
It's the Austin Powers guy. For some reason, I kept thinking Shrek. Oh, it is Shrek.
He was also Shrek, yeah.
He's also Shrek.
I was like, wait a minute, isn't he the guy from from Shrek? But
He played Shrek in Shrek.
I didn't want to sound dumb and say it, but here I am. Anyways, I think you completely missed my point, though, Blake. My problem isn't the scene with the glasses guy. My problem is they do this whole montage of how shitty the song was and how the feedback on the song was shitty, and we never hear about it again. We don't see them reacting to the terrible feedback and them being like, this fucking sucks or whatever. Like, some sort of reaction, because of course creatives are going to get negative feedback and they're going to have an emotion about it, and you're not showing me any of that. You're just jumping straight to another song.
I think it was meant to be kind of a takedown of music criticism, because there's very little correlation between music criticism and commercial success.
I think you're giving this movie an extreme benefit of the doubt with that take, because I don't think they were thinking that way at all.
we gotta say like one nice thing about this movie.
I said one nice thing. I said I liked the way the editors put together that music splicing scene at the beginning.
Yeah.
That was my one nice thing. Everything else sucks. Oh, and I said I liked Mary.
Like, you're kind of saying that they were inventing like hostility.
It just seems like they put in this thing that would seem like it would be a bigger part of the movie, because it was such a big scene where like they were like, I don't know what song to write, I don't know what I'm doing. And then you see this whole thing where they like finally get inspired and they start recording it, and then they present it to the executive, and it's a whole thing. And then they bring it to the radio station, and then nothing after. It just feels like so much build up for it to go nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that bothered me so much. And then we just jumped right into another song.
I mean, that's sort of the whole movie. Anytime they're building towards something that's like interesting, they just sort of like, oh, well, we're gonna go do something else now. It's time for the next song.
Listen, I'm being story blueballed and I don't like it.
Again, that whole scene with the record executive dissing Bohemian Rhapsody just felt like somebody read on Wikipedia something like, record executives initially did not like the song and thought it was too long. And then they're like, oh, let's dramatize that into a whole scene.
My nice thing about this movie is I liked hearing Radio Gaga. You don't actually hear that one very often.
Yes, I had that same thought. That's a really good song.
Which one was that?
And if it wasn't for Radio Gaga, we wouldn't have Lady Gaga.
And I like Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Who was also up for, was actually, hold up before I say something incorrect.
A Star is Born definitely got.
She was up for an Oscar this year.
Yeah. Oh, this year.
The year this movie came out. I mean, like...
Oh, yeah.
I usually like to touch on briefly the other movies from that year, but honestly, this is probably getting to be one of my most heavily covered years at the Oscars. We've covered Green Book, we've covered Vice. I'm sure someday I'm going to roll up Black Panther and just sort of have to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Black Panther's good. What are you talking about? It's one of the better MCU movies.
I was going to say, I like Black Panther fine. I'm just like, You could MCU discourse is on the list of things where like I'm just so overdoing it.
It's also one of those like where it's so hard to just talk about one movie in the MCU without like touching on a whole bunch of other ones. And I think what makes me sad about Black Panther is Chad.
I'm not going to retell the story, the Chadwick Boseman Oscar story. I am going to say that I'm not actually positive. Rami Malek was not a good choice for Best Actor for this year, but I'll give him this. I'm not actually sure he was the worst choice.
That's a good way to put it.
Viggo Mortensen and Green Book. That's a real tough one for which is the worst choice there. I would have gone with Willem Dafoe at Eternity's Gate, but no one consults me on anything.
Well, I assume Willem Dafoe has his share of Academy Awards at this point in his life?
You would be extremely wrong about that.
For real?
I don't think he has any.
He's been in so much shit too. That's so sad.
He's actually not in the kind of movies that win Oscars.
Oh, he's in good movies.
He was nominated for Platoon, Shadow of the Vampire, The Florida Project, and At Eternity's Gate. He has not won any of them.
I've seen Platoon.
I can really recommend The Florida Project. Very, very good. And the director of that went on to win an Oscar a few years later. So, good shit. He's very good in The Florida Project.
Can I rant in more detail about why I hated the Live Aid scene?
Please do.
So the Live Aid scene, I believe, what have we concluded? That it was meant to be like a 1-to-1 recreation of their entire 20-minute set?
Something like that.
Which means that it's a 20-minute scene.
Yeah.
Which is very long.
It's a long-ass scene.
Yep.
Yeah, it copies their set list exactly. The crowd looks terrible in that scene. They did not have enough extras to convincingly clone them and make them look like a real crowd. They look almost like a crowd you'd see in a video game. Yeah, I'm looking through my notes, and there's like 3 different times that I wrote, wow, the crowd looks so bad. I also think the lighting in that scene is really flat because they were trying to recreate the footage as accurately as possible. You could really tell from the costumes, from the set layout, from the set list that they were trying to do the most accurate possible replica of that performance. And they probably were looking at reference footage, which was shot on tape in kind of the midday lighting and just looked really blown out. And the result is a very, very accurate scene that has it doesn't look like anything.
I mean, it's not like it's not a well graded film, but it's not like the worst graded film. It's not as a rule the movie is not graded terribly. This is not Civil War over here. Sorry, I have to actually be more clear here because
you're talking about MCU.
Yeah, the Captain America: The Civil War, which is graded like pavement.
Right as we just finished saying that we were tired of talking about MCU, you mentioned Captain America.
I actually had to be more clear because there is also a movie just called Civil War, which has its own set of problems, but is not graded like pavement.
I just found that the movie's color, the only time the color grading really stuck out, no, it wasn't the only time. I agree with you. It was a little kind of, especially the 70s stuff. They're like, let's make everything look 70s colored. And then when we move to the 80s, we'll just put the 80s filter on.
It's fine.
But that scene at Live Aid, it was almost like the opposite problem. It felt like there wasn't enough color grading. Everything was so neutral.
Yeah, it didn't really match the tone of the rest of the movie.
No, I completely agree. It felt like they were trying to match as close as possible the video footage. And that video footage was captured by videotapes, probably
in the mid 80s.
Yeah, in the mid 80s. They weren't trying to make a stylized version of what that felt like. They were trying to just recreate it as close as they could while it's, short of making it look like it was actually filmed on an 80s camcorder. And it almost has a parallel with the problem with photorealism in animation and games, where if you actually make something look photorealistic, you don't really have an art style at that point. There's no stylization at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it really suffered, especially because it was a 20-minute scene.
I feel like, this movie came out in 2018. I feel like in 2018, there's no excuses for poor grading like that and poor editing
and poor special effects.
We have so much technology at our fingertips at this point. And, even in 2018, there's just no excuse. They easily could have recreated it while also making it look good.
Mm-hmm.
And they really failed in that aspect, in my opinion.
Yeah, they could have had more shots where there's the shots of the television screens where it's stylized to look like an 80s broadcast, and then interspeed that with actual good looking shots where it looks like a movie instead of looking like this soundstage.
Or if you want it to look like it was shot on video, shoot it on video. The
Perish the thought, yeah.
kids love analog horror.
That would have looked well. We got the horror part right at least.
Make it look like Skinamarink.
Yeah.
Shoot a movie biopic like Skinamarink, is what I'm saying.
Put the entire Live Aid set in the back rooms. Gosh darn it.
That game scares me.
My last thought that I wanted to share about the Oscars it won versus what it beat is Academy. Academy, come here. Come here. I need you to look me dead in the eyes and tell me this movie had better editing than The Favorite. Okay? Or Black Klansman. I really need you. I need you to say it to my face. Or Vice. I didn't even love Vice, but tell me it had better editing than all three of those movies. Otherwise, I'm coming to your house.
Who are you talking to?
The Academy.
Oh, I thought you. For a second, I thought that I.
Blake thought there was another person in the room.
No, I thought that Ellie had a cat named Academy, or perhaps a goldfish.
You know what? You should make that a bit. Get a cat, name it Academy, and start talking to it halfway through the podcast every single
Well,
time.
I mean, I call her Academy, but her full name at the vet is the Academy.
The Academy Award, the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences.
Yeah.
You can call it Demi for short, and then
Yeah.
when people are like, "What's your cat's name?" and you're like,
Demi is short
but
for the Academy of Arts and Sciences.
I don't think my place allows pets, or I would.
oh, that'd be really funny.
I'm gonna go tell Sky that she needs to rename her cat the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences.
I have a note in my notes that I took that I wrote. Oh no, Ben Hardy in parentheses Roger Taylor the drummer in drag is hot.
Left column.
When they
I thought we weren't doing columns.
I guess I'm doing columns.
we're not referencing the meticulous spreadsheet you keep of all the gay shit I say and all the straight shit I say.
But
I feel like it's straight boy culture to say that Freddie Mercury in drag is hot, but to say the other members of Queen in drag are hot, that doesn't feel quite as mainstream.
was that the blonde one?
Yeah, he was the cute little guy.
Yeah, he was good in drag. He looked good in drag.
Is that straight boy culture?
Looked really good. Yeah, straight men. I'm the only straight guy here, so I'll give you guys a little, in honor of Pride Month, I'll give you a little. We have this weird obsession with finding men that it's socially acceptable for straight men to admit are attractive.
Okay.
And there's only like 6 of them. One of them is Henry Cavill, of course.
You know what? My ex would always say he is very, very straight, but Henry Cavill could do things to him and he'd be okay.
And it's only
like-
Henry Cavill is a man for men, because I was telling this to my mom, the same mom that I watched this movie with a few years ago. I was explaining this. I was saying, "Oh yeah, there's this guy named Henry Cavill, and every straight man says that they'd make an exception." And I sent a picture to her, and she just responded and said, "I don't get it." And I was like, "Yeah, because women don't. Well, I mean, some women.
Henry Cavill is a man from like the male gaze.
Thank you.
And he appeals to the male
Yeah.
gaze. But before I get completely distracted and start talking about Henry Cavill again, that scene, that drag scene,
Yeah.
that is the perfect example of what I was talking about earlier, where
Oh yeah.
you kind of need to put in like some sort of like thing and then follow it up with more things.
Why don't they flash back to like people bullying Freddie for being queer?
And like what they did with that scene is they had the drag scene, and then there was like the fallout that happened after where like they refused to air it, and he starts like, being like, I don't want to tour in America anymore. And like I wanted to see more of that fallout of like their artistic choices and what they chose to do and the aftermath of it versus just being like seeing, this big scene with Bohemian Rhapsody and then just kind of jumping into something else, like completely like, that was a good example of them doing that, and I wanted more of that in this movie.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here thinking about how apparently it's straight boy culture to find men sexually attractive, specific men.
Yep.
And being reminded once again that Barbara Kruger is a goddamn genius.
Listen, I have a lot of straight male friends, and no one is gayer than a straight man for his boys.
Yep.
Like, I hear some of the fruitiest shit come out of their mouths, and they claim to be straight as an arrow. And I'm like, I have gay friends that aren't as gay as you. Like, what are you
My
talking
DMs
about?
with my male friends, all two of them, they are filthy, 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 filthy.
You construct intricate rituals to allow you to touch the skin of other men.
Something like
Oh,
that, yeah.
jeez. Yeah. I have a lot of clips of them saying insane shit, so.
On that note, any final thoughts?
Yes. That scene where he's on the floor playing the piano pissed me off. Because you got me fucked up if you can think I believe that he was able to lay down, not looking at his piano, and then be behind him with his hands up in the air playing the notes correctly.
I can do that with the ukulele.
No, you can't. Send me a video right now. Send me a video of it right now.
Wait till you're off the call.
And I need you to be in the same position.
I'm sorry, Amanda. One of my straight friends already asked me to send him a different video. I have to record that first.
Hey, yo.
Okay, you do that, then put your pants back on, and then send me the video. Happy Pride!
Happy Pride, everyone. Go watch a better gay movie, right, Ellie?
Yeah, your homework is go watch Love Lies Bleeding. Everyone. Not even just for Pride, just watch that movie. That movie slaps. Amanda,
Yeah,
do you have anything you'd like to plug?
as usual, absolutely not. I just exist.
And I'm very happy that you do. Blake, how about you? Do you have anything you would like to plug?
Yeah, all right. Here's what you're going to do, listeners. You're going to open up your music platform of choice, whether that be Spotify or Napster, and you are going to type in Blake, that's Blake, Bernett, Bernett. There is an album on all the storefronts called Beta version, Beta like the fish. You'll see a picture of a fish on it. Now, I recorded that when I was younger. There's some not so good music on there.
No, it's all amazing. That entire album slaps. I've played it many, many times throughout the years. And if you weren't going to plug it, I was going to plug it for you.
Yeah, go look up Blake Bernett. Again, Bernett is spelled Bernett. Go look up my music on your platform of choice. Listen to Making Out in the Metro. If you want to get something stuck in your head that I'm kind of proud of.
My
that
favorite.
One.
I love that one. That one's a real crowd pleaser at shows.
I do
too.
wish I wasn't plugging my music on a podcast about Queen, a band that makes much fancier, nicer music. But if you want something that's not really in the same vicinity at all, but
Serial Killer is good too.
Serial Killer, which is about a guy that breaks into people's houses and stabs their boxes of cereals. Yeah. That's the kind of music that I was writing in my early 20s. So go ahead and give that a spin and enjoy it.
At shows, he would actually have a cereal box that he stabbed and made a mess with.
Yeah, because I was trying to overcompensate for my lack of musicianship with visual spectacle. It all comes around.
Plus the Hawaiian shirts that really tied it all together.
Oh, yeah. I'm wearing one right now.
I love that for you.
Napster?
It used to be on Napster. I'm not sure if it still is. Because the way that the distribution platforms work, they're just like, okay, we're going to put you on everything. And I looked through the list, was like, Napster? And I actually had one friend that listened to me on Napster. I was honored. Oh, Ellie, do you have anything that you would like to plug?
As always, our host can be found on Blue Sky, Medium, and Letterboxd at LSR42, and on Tumblr, Football in Tuxedos. This podcast can be found on both YouTube and Spotify. If you liked what you heard, maybe give us a comment and tell us what you liked, or just like the video if it's on YouTube. Subscribe. Make sure you get new episodes. They come out every other Wednesday as of right now. And if you didn't like what you heard, I'm sorry. And so thanks to both Blake and Amanda for coming out tonight and enduring this movie with me. I really got to get you on an episode of a movie you'll like.
Get me on The Apartment.
You know what? Send me a list of potentials, and I will tell you which one of them I am most likely to enjoy.
There are over 1,000 Oscar-winning movies, my beloved Panda.
Okay, well, I don't know how you do your picking.
How am I picking? Randomly.
Well, there you go.
But next time, 2 weeks from now, we are, alas, going to be out of Pride Month. So we're back to the normal grind of episodes, and we're covering another one, which the director went on. I think he won some Oscars this most recent year. We're going to be covering the Paul Thomas Anderson film, The Phantom Thread. Hope to see you there. Tell you what, Mr. Reed. Now we're three misfits who don't belong together. We're podcasting for the other misfits. They're the outcast right at the back of the room. We're pretty sure they don't belong either. We belong to them.
that good? Was that like a natural line read?